Hello everybody and welcome back to SparkleDart. Camels, okay? Camels are something that I've always found very fascinating. Now here's something interesting you might not know about camels, is that they actually are not native to the Middle East. You might think, well, that's what I saw in the Bible and that's what I saw on that movie, Top Gun, maybe? I don't know. And let me tell you, that's actually not the case. Camels are actually native to, I think they were native to, well, that I'm not so certain about. I think there might have been camels in the U.S., North America. Again, don't quote me on that, but maybe they were imported from somewhere else, like Spain or Mexico. I don't know. Just go look it up. I don't know. You'll find out more information from Wikipedia than you ever will from me, because that's where I get all my information in the first place. So they were not native to the Middle East, even though it says so in the Bible or whatever. They had camels or something like that, but only in the New Testament, not in the Old Testament. And then at that point you have to wonder, well, why were there camels in there if they weren't imported until way after the Bible was written? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that question. That's not something that I'm going to field today, because I don't feel like it's my place to talk about something like that. So anyways, okay, this is going to be a hard time for me. So anyways, I was talking about that. Yeah, I was talking about that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And I know that some forms of camelids being the genus that camels are part of, like all the animals that are related to camels. Alright, now we're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gasoline. I've solved the problem, you can fret no further. Okay, so anyways, camels, yes, camels. They are mean, they spit on you, and they like to stomp. They stomp their hooves and they go, "Argh!" And they also don't like to go in cars. If you've ever seen a car with camels in it, they probably weren't put in there by their own volition. They were probably forced to go into the car. And those camels are probably, mad at the people who put them in that car. So if you don't understand camel anger, then I think that's a better introspective into the lives of camels, because they don't like to do things that people like to make them do, because they're not circus animals. They're not like bears or rhinos or frogs or nothing that you would normally see in a circus. So they were imported into the Middle East, and whether or not they are native to there is a matter of debate, and it's not a can of worms that I would like to open on my show, so don't ask me about it. I do, however, like alpacas and llamas, because they're very nice, and they're also very mean in the same way that camels are mean, but not so much the same disposition. They're very furry and they're very fuzzy, which makes them look a lot more approachable. Oh, that is terrifying. I do not like that at all. Which makes them look very approachable, but they will still bite you. Of course they'll bite you. Every animal will bite you if you put your hand near its mouth. Now, they don't like to, they're not like carnivorous or nothing. They don't have sharp teeth, but they will like chomp down on your hand, and then you'll be like, ow, and you'll like slap it in the side of the head. Then it will like spit on you, because that's what they do. They got spit, saliva, and they like to use it. Now, let me tell you, grasshoppers are also something that will spit on you, and they will also swarm. Now, grasshoppers are, of course, very important animals. I think grasshoppers might actually be called locusts in some parts of the world, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I am mistaken. That sounds like something that could be true, but I'm not exactly certain about. Oh, please, God, no. So, yeah, just if you don't know what I'm talking about, then just, look it up. Grasshoppers will spit on you and they swarm. And they also don't really like Mountain Dew. I found this out really fast, because I had, when I was a little boy, I had this, like, box full of grasshoppers that I got, because it came with, like, grasshopper larvae, and I was supposed to, like, take care of them or something, and then they all, like, grew into regular-sized grasshoppers, and it was really cool. And then I'm like, I like Mountain Dew. Maybe these grasshoppers will like Mountain Dew as well. And so I put a whole can of Mountain Dew inside of their pen. I didn't, like, just set it in there. I poured it in there. The whole thing. and there was so much of it in there that they couldn't actually like stand inside of there anymore without being inside of Mountain Dew, and they all started jumping around and going real fast, and I'm like, this is hilarious. And then like 10 years later I realized that it wasn't hilarious, it was actually kind of tragic, because all these grasshoppers had like a bunch of caffeine coursing through their little external skeletons, and it was kind of sad, you know. I felt bad about what I did. There were a lot of things I felt bad about that I did when I was a little baby. Like I used to leave doors open when I was younger that my brother would climb through. He would climb through the door and then he'd fall down the stairs, and he did that twice. And honestly, we were surprised that he never got like any permanent like concussions or nothing like that. But we do think that that might be why he's not been developing so fast. Sorry, brother, that's just what we think. Anyways, fella, buddy, you're gonna have to chill out there. You're gonna have to chill. Just take it easy. Anyways, I don't know. The military draft, right? So what's up with that? Now, during World War II and maybe Vietnam, I don't remember exactly if there was a draft during Vietnam. There might have been, maybe, I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I wasn't there. I wasn't born at the time. And that's just kind of how these things go. It's like you're not born yet. You don't know the things, right? So the military draft was something that I think my uncle was drafted into the military during Vietnam. I guess that would be true, because if he was in Vietnam, then he probably didn't choose to, because he's always been very anti-violence. He just likes to jerk off. He doesn't like to fight anybody. And you know what? I can totally agree with that. I can totally see the merit in something like that. It makes a lot of sense to me, and I would never like condemn somebody for not wanting to be in. Well, I've died. That's the first. Have I ever gotten a game over before? Does anybody know? Anybody? Please help me out. Oh, pardon me. Pardon me. A whole lot pardons. And so he was in World War II. No, he was in Vietnam, like I said. But he didn't actually get sent over to Vietnam. He was actually just kind of in the U.S. the whole time on reserve. I guess he was probably like in the reserves or something like that. I don't know exactly what the difference is, because I've never been part of the military organization. It's not something that I'm interested in. I know a lot of people who I knew in high school that went into the Marine Corps and the Air Force and the Navy and all sorts of stuff like that. Not a lot of them went into the Army, though. I don't know. It seems like we've got a lot of people in the Army, but I never hear about anybody joining the Army. What's up with that? That sounds like a very strange thing. Now, you're going to tell me real quick that, my brother, he was in the Army or whatever. My girlfriend's babysitter was in the Army. I'm like, why are you dating somebody who has to have a babysitter? You know? What does that say about you? I'm over here making bold, sweeping statements, but you're the one who just admitted that you have a girlfriend who still has a babysitter? What is that all about? Would you care to explain that, or are you just going to leave that open for everybody to, speculate about? Like, I'm sure that's not some... If you told me so openly, then I assume you have told everybody that you know personally that this is the case. And they've been all like, why does she have a babysitter? And maybe, I don't know, maybe she's got some sort of like mental deficiency. She can't be left alone, or maybe you just used the wrong term. Maybe you meant employer or something like that. I don't know. It's not my judgment call to make. But yeah, I'm still going to approach your comment with skepticism, because it's not something that makes sense to me. It's not something I'm used to hearing, and frankly, I'm disgusted that you would even bring it up. So just kind of, be a little bit more aware of your surroundings when you start talking. That's all I'm asking, is that you start being more aware of your surroundings. And it's fine if you've got something you want to tell me or whatever. I'll listen to you. Or if you're just trying to be a funny man, listen. I don't appreciate people who like try to make jokes and stuff, because honestly, I don't find a whole lot of things funny. And I get, if you find something funny and you want to share it with your friends, you laugh at it, whatever. It's fine. I understand that completely. Like, I know I've got a lot of friends who like stand-up comedians, and they like to watch them on TV or whatever, or on the internet, or on Netflix, or on Pandora, or whatever it is that they like to do. I don't know if they got like a CD in their car that they listen to with the stand-up comedians' vocal recordings on it, where they talk about stuff like that all the time. That's not my gig. That's not my scene, brother. That's not my thing. So, although I appreciate these funny people who tell these funny jokes, these hilarious jokes, I just don't really buy into it a whole lot. You know, it's like you gotta be serious part of the time, and I get that it's fun to have fun, but it's also fun to be responsible. And you might be thinking to yourself, I don't think it's fun to be responsible. My mother told me to clean my room when I was a baby. I didn't like to do it, and I never did, and I had a lot more fun because of it. And it's like, well, you know what? The real problem there is that you're trying to have too much fun. Now, you might think, well, SparkleDart, I like to have fun. It's what I like to do because life is very monotonous and boring, and I don't want to do that anymore. That was something I didn't intend to do. I don't want to not have fun because at the end of the day, if I die and then I said that I spent my entire life just sitting in a corner writing books or reading books and doing my taxes, then it's just not going to reflect very well on me, and people are going to think I was a boring person. And you know what, SparkleDart, if I tell them that, then they are going to be right to think that I'm a boring person, because that is not the kind of thing that a person should spend all of their time doing. You got to spend your time doing stuff you actually enjoy, stuff you actually like to do. Like you, SparkleDart, I know you like to spend all your time doing stuff that you enjoy doing, stuff that you like to do, and I'm like, that's actually not true. It's a very bold claim that you're making. That's a very bold claim that you're making in regards to me, even though I'm certain you do not know me as well as you probably think that you do. Now, the thing is, I do like to enjoy myself. I do like to unwind, and I do that very frequently with a can of Pabst Blue Ribbon TM. Taste the flavor. That's the slogan. I made that up. So if Pabst Blue Ribbon, if you want to use that slogan, you have to give me credit, because I will not allow you to use my work without giving me any credit, because that would be ridiculous. That's insane. I'm not an insane person. I understand that you're trying to run a business, but let me tell you what, I'm also trying to run a business. I'm trying to make a living. I'm trying to, I wouldn't say run a business, I guess, exactly, but I am trying to make a living, and that's the important thing I guess you should take from what I just said, is that I'm trying to better myself, trying to make a better world for my family, my friends, and if I have more money, then I can do that. I can help the people that I like the most, because those are the people who are the most important to me, and those are the ones who will be there at my funeral when I am dead. And that's all I care about. That's all that I'm concerned with at this moment, is just having a good rap sheet when I have to talk to Mr. Gabriel Peter at the parley gates or whatever it is that you do. Because, when you die and go up to heaven, you have to make a case, why should I get into heaven? And they'll give you a couple of good reasons why. I'll be like, did you see my funeral? Did you see how many people were at my funeral, Mr. Gabriel? There were a lot of them there. And I know that maybe you weren't watching. Maybe rewind the tape of my life and then you'll see it. And then you can be like, oh, okay, well, I understand now that you are telling the truth and that you're not lying. And for me to assume that you were lying is very rude on my part. It's very unprofessional of me. I should have been doing my job instead of reading Archie comics all day, because, I like that Archie comics. I like that Jughead. I really relate to him. And I'm like, yes, I know I really relate to the Jughead too. But, it's more important that it's more important that you do your job than to just be more hedonistic and kind of sit back and enjoy life, rather than take charge of it and make things happen for yourself, things that you want to happen in your life, things that are very important to you and very important to your friends. It's very important. I'm going to keep reiterating that word, important, 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 because let me tell you what, if you... Oh, I don't like what's going on right now. All right, well, hold on just 1 second here. These fellas, this is actually reminding me a lot of that movie, Atlantis, The Lost Empire. If you ever saw that movie, it was a very good movie about a boy, a very nerdy, scrawny, ugly boy, who had a couple of hot sidekicks and a very creepy-looking old man who looked a lot like the number 2 character from Kids Next Door. If you ever watch that show on Cartoon Network, it's a good show. Go watch Cartoon Kid Next Door. It's a good show. Trust me, I would never recommend something to you that I personally would never watch. So if I'm telling you to go watch it, that's got to be what I actually intend for you to go do. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up here in a minute after I loot these crates, so to speak. And yeah, okay, never mind. Okay, so thank you for watching SparkleDart. I've been SparkleDart. Goodbye. Mwah.